Alrighty, so we've talked about type 1 versus 2 errors. We have talked about effect size and practical significance versus statistical significance. The last big topic in chapter 6 is meta-analysis. Now, as a researcher, I love meta-analysis, okay? The idea behind a meta-analysis is you are taking a lot of research that's looked at the same thing, you're comparing it, you're looking at the effect sizes that all of the research has gotten, and you're combining it into one statement about, and therefore this seems to be what we know about whatever. Let me give you an example about why this is relevant. Let me return to my example of meditation and anxiety, right? I promise you I'll come up with a different example at some point this semester.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing.
And my
Say that again.
smart home stuff is talking to me. Okay, so let's say,
Answer for that.
Alexa, be quiet. Let's say that during the course of developing this app, I had wanted to look at articles about the relationship between meditation and anxiety. I have Google Scholar opened in my window right next to me, okay? And I typed in relationship between meditation and anxiety. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of results, okay? A lot of people have studied this. This isn't an unusual topic. If I wanted to type in like relationship between college major and depression levels, I typed that into my article search. There's millions of articles. And not all these are independent research. Some of these are going to be summaries and things. But this is a popularly researched topic. So as a researcher, if I'm either wanting to write about this or if I'm wanting to develop an intervention based on this, it's very helpful for me if someone has done a meta-analysis, if someone has looked at 200 of these articles and compared their effect sizes, weeded out the ones that maybe didn't have great methodological steps, and has summarized. And so therefore the relationship seems to be this. The average effect size seems to be this. Here's how it differs based on certain ages, genders, ethnicities, religions, whatever it might be. So that's a meta-analysis. You are summarizing the research that exists using a unique set of statistical methods that allows you to compare effect sizes. Now, there are problems with meta-analysis. I'm actually going to have you do a meta-analysis for this week's discussion board and assignment so you can get an idea about this. One thing you'll see when you pull it up is they report how they found their articles. And they'll say, our research team did a search. We identified 3,000 articles. Of those 3,000 articles, we selected 250 of them to review. Of those 250, we found problems, flaws in 100 of them. And so therefore we're included 150 studies for review here. That's normal, right? The problem is if I have an agenda, it's really easy for me to select the studies I want to select. And this is on just an individual level. There was actually a huge thing in the 90s with the Environmental Protection Agency because they were wanting to pass stricter laws about not being able to smoke in the workplace. And so they were saying we're looking at research about how secondhand smoke in an office building affects the people in that building health-wise. And they took this in front of, I believe it was the federal court actually, trying to get this passed to have these non-smoking policies and saying, look at these massive problems that we found in our meta-analysis that we did. Look how huge of an effect this is. This is why we need to ban it. Which I'm not against policies that limit smoking indoors. I have an asthmatic child. I very much appreciate those policies. However, their research was reviewed, and what it was found was that they had intentionally picked the articles that showed the highest effect sizes to calculate and inflated their number that they took before the judge. And they found that half of the articles they had excluded, half the research they had excluded because low effect size are not significant, they didn't have any justification for why they did. So if meta-analysis can be abused, but very, very helpful.